Welcome back to another video. My name's Jackson. Today we're going to be going over 5 players that I love in this year's NFL fantasy drafts. I'm trying to leave a lot of drafts with, 1, 2, 3 of these players to build on my teams. But let's just hop right into it. First, we have Justin Herbert. Right now, he's going at quarterback 9 and about that 81, 82 ADP on Underdog. The big thing for him this year is he gets Mike McDaniel as his offensive coordinator. As we know, he's very good scheme, very smart with his offense. His offenses have ranked number 1 in pre-snap motion and number 5 with play action rate, which both are usually very good things, showing that efficiency is going to go up. Those are some good telltale signs for that. And when I mean efficiency, I mean like EPA per play. Those are usually really good metrics to see how good an offense is. I think that Mike McDaniel just gives Herbert such a boost this year. I mean, Mike McDaniel alone has gotten Tua Tagovailoa to throw for 4,600 yards and 29 touchdowns in 2023. And I think Herbert is far and away a better player than Tua Tagovailoa. Herbert's already showed he can sling it. He's thrown for 5,000 yards in a season before, one of like 9 or 10 players ever to do that. So I think the ceiling is, the sky, and the floor is super high for Herbert this year. I love, drafting him where he's going right now in drafts. And even looking at the offensive line, we get a healthy Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater back. They even signed Tyler Biadasz and drafted Jake Slaughter in this year's draft. So, some upgrades and also getting some key pieces back. I think an underrated part of Justin Herbert's game is also his rushing ability. Last year, he ranked number 2 in the entire NFL among quarterbacks for rushing yards. He ran for 498 yards last year, so I think that's an underrated aspect of his game as well, with some, possible touchdown upside there too. And even if you go online, his projections are about 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 300 yards on the ground. He's even got plus 900 odds to, be the NFL MVP this season. I like my chances drafting him. He's going to be on a good offense in a good situation. This is the best that the Chargers situation has been for him. I just can't pass him up. I really love Justin Herbert this year, and you should too. Next player we have is Chase Brown. Right now, he's going at about running back 10, which is 16 and 17-ish, ADP on Underdog. I think liking Chase Brown is pretty popular this year, but I do have to put my opinion on it as well. I love him. He's going to be on a great offense, a part of the Bengals with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and, of course, I think a staple of this offense is going to be Chase Brown this season. And it's kind of been a very underrated part for him is that he's been great the past 2 seasons, and everything has been, injuries and people in and out of the lineups, Joe Burrow, and there's just been a lot of moving parts, and he's just been the stable part of this lineup, performing week in and week out. Even with Burrow alone, he's averaged 19.4 points per game last season. I believe it was 9 games they played together. So that's just an incredible stat just to look at by itself. Even being behind, not a great offensive line, he still hit 1,000 rushing yards last season and still averaged about 4.5 yards per carry on the ground. So that's a huge plus for him. He also gets targeted heavily out of the backfield on this team. Last year, he had 88 targets and 65 targets in 2024. Leading to 54 receptions in 2024 and 69 receptions last season. That's just an incredible floor and an offense that you want to be a part of and attached to for sure. Another reason why I like Chase Brown this year is that they didn't bring in anyone else to, kind of take the workload off of him. They're running it back. They think that Chase Brown is the guy. They believe in him. They didn't draft like a 3rd, 4th round guy that is, going to take away the 3rd down play from him. But this is the guy. Chase Brown is the guy. I'm not worried about any competition. Samaje Perine, he's nothing to me. Chase Brown is going to be the bell cow. He started off a little slow last year in weeks 1 through 5, a little shaky and slow, but when he picked it up weeks 6 through 18, he averaged 18.2 touches per game and over 100 yards per game. They have the 3rd easiest schedule this year. He's projected about 850 yards and 7 touchdowns. I know that's a little low, but I think that is just, a little off for me. I think I have him probably over 1,000 yards on the ground, probably in that, 500 yards through the air, honestly, as well. He's just an absolute playmaker. I am loving him in drafts this season. Another player I want to talk about is Ashton Jeanty of the Las Vegas Raiders. Right now, he's going at running back 5, about that 11 ADP on Underdog. I think he is one of the biggest bounce back candidates for this upcoming season. Last year, he didn't really have any help around him. No good offensive line. No one was blocking for him. He was constantly getting hit behind the line. So this year, I think everything's going to be a little more stable and he's going to have a better season for sure. Last year alone, he handled 85% of the backfield opportunities that the Raiders even had, which is great because this year, Klint Kubiak is going to want to lean into that a lot. He's even said he wants Ashton Jeanty to be the bell cow this year. And as for the offensive line, the Raiders, sign Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best centers in the game, and they get Colton Miller back, who missed 11 games last season, who's a pretty solid offensive lineman as well. And if we're looking at projections, he's projected 975 yards, 8 touchdowns, 350 yards through the air. That 975 yards, he came very close to that or beat that last year. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but he is going to exceed that expectation, I think, by a lot this season with the new offensive line, the new offensive system that they have in place in Las Vegas for them this year with Klint Kubiak. Klint Kubiak is just coming over from the Seahawks, who won the Super Bowl, and he's going to install this new system. It's going to be, perfect for Ashton Jeanty. He wants to run the ball. He wants to, have 12, 13 personnel on the field a lot and, play smash mouth football that Kubiak just likes to run. I think overall the Raiders are just going to have a better environment this year with Coach Klint Kubiak, and Fernando Mendoza will probably see time this year. He's going to help stabilize the offense. I think this is just a great environment for Ashton Jeanty to be a part of, and you can't forget about the most underrated part of his game is that pass catching ability out of the backfield. He's projected for 350 out of the backfield as well, so you can't forget about that. He's going to catch a lot of passes. He's going to be the bell cow running back. I think this is a great environment for him to be the best bounce back candidate for this season. Next player we have is A.J. Brown of the New England Patriots, moving over from the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now he's going at wide receiver number 7, and he is getting drafted about that 18th ADP on Underdog. I think we'll start with his career path. On the Titans and the Eagles have been two very, run-heavy offenses. He's kind of had that touchdown potential capped just because, he's never really been the only star on the team. And now he gets to the Patriots where he's in a better pass-friendly and more pass-efficient offense. His touchdown potential is through the roof. He is the star player. He's going to get all the, number 1 targets on the team. And if you just look at the Patriots alone last season, they ranked 4th in, passing yards per game last year. So that's a huge boost for A.J. Brown. Like I said, he's the star. He's going to get all the looks, all the opportunities. Big red zone guy. He's going to go up and get the ball for Drake May. And Drake May is really good at throwing, deep balls with his, completion percentage last year with throwing the deep ball. A.J. Brown's going to benefit from that a lot. And looking at projections for him, he's projected 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. I think those are really solid floor numbers. He has a huge ceiling as well. Now that he's on the Patriots, it's going to be more touchdowns through the air for him. I think that, this untapped potential really for A.J. Brown is what we have all been looking to see from him. The last player we're going to talk about in this video is Emeka Egbuka of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, he's going at wide receiver 16 at the 34-35 ADP on Underdog. Now, if you look at last season, he was great, weeks 1 through 5, averaged about 5 catches, 89 yards a game, seeing a lot of touchdowns as well. And then week 6 rolls around, he hurts his hamstring, he tries to play through it, doesn't take any games off. And it's just not a good mix. He really just drops everything, like 3 catches, 40 yards a game, really no touchdowns for the rest of the season, maybe like 1. On top of that, Baker had an AC sprain that didn't help him at all. His catchable target rate went down nearly to 50%, which is a huge drop off from where it was. I believe it was at like 85% before that. And that catchable target percentage was the lowest in the NFL during that span. Despite all that, he still ended up with a pretty solid season, getting 63 receptions, 938 yards, and 6 touchdowns for the season, and finishing with 14.9 yards per reception, which is pretty solid. Now, if we flip the table and look at this year, Mike Evans is gone. Egbuka is really trying to step into that wide receiver 1 role where he's going to probably be playing the Z role a lot. And they have a new offensive coordinator coming over from Atlanta. It's Zach Robinson, who helped Drake London in 2024 get to 100 catches, a ton of yards, and even add 160 targets that season, which is outstanding. Before that, Zach Robinson was with the Rams and even helped Cooper Kupp, during his Triple Crown season. I think that, this offensive coordinator shift is going to help out Baker and the offense and Igbuka a ton. This is going to be amazing for them. And even looking at Matt Harmon's reception perception, he writes great things about all these, wide receivers. But looking at Igbuka specifically, his success rates were pretty solid last year. He had 71.4% success rate versus man, 79.3% versus zone, and 68.4% versus press. All success rates. I think those are outstanding numbers. I'm really in on Igbuka for a big bounce back year as well this season. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new around here, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Would really appreciate that. But that's about it. Yeah.